What's up, cooking squad? It's your girl Tay, and I'm back with another cooking video. Today we are going to be fixing some pork chops with a Parmesan cheese sauce. Okay, so I am not going to continue on talking. We are just going to get into this video. So guys, first and foremost, we have our pork chops here. I have some thick cut center pork chops without the bone in them, and we are just going to season them with some onion powder, some garlic powder, a little bit of black pepper, some salt, and I am also going to add my Slap Your Mama seasoning. Yep, you guessed it. That is my go-to seasoning, you guys. So we are going to add that on both sides of our pork chop, and then we are going to saute them down in the skillet. And this is also kind of a healthy meal that you can eat, guys. You probably can even add some pasta to your sauce as well, or maybe some rice if you prefer. But I am going to be eating my pork chops as it is, with a side of vegetables. And you can also do that as well. You can put a side of vegetables to your meal. So actually, guys, I am going to add the Creole seasoning instead of the Slap Your Mama seasoning. So we are going to use the Creole seasoning instead. And now we're just gonna flip the pork chops over and start seasoning the other side. So cooking squad, it's time for us to move on over to the skillet. I have my virgin olive oil here, and I am just going to add a tablespoon of olive oil to the skillet, and we're going to let that heat up. So now that we have our olive oil in the skillet, we are going to add a tablespoon of butter, and I am using the salted butter. You can use whatever kind of butter you want. You can also use whatever kind of seasoning that you prefer on your pork chops as well. You do not have to use the same seasonings that I am using. You can just make it your own. So we are just going to melt this butter down, and then we are going to begin to add in the rest of our ingredients. So now that our butter and our olive oil is all nice and heated, we are going to add in our pork chops, and we are going to saute these down and let these cook for a little bit on both sides. So guys, our pork chops have been cooking for a few minutes now, and now we are just going to flip all of our pork chops over so the other side can cook, and we are going to let these cook for a few more minutes. We want our pork chops to be nice and browned on both sides. So now that our pork chops are all nice and brown, we are going to remove them from the skillet, and we are going to put our pork chops to the side and begin to add our next ingredient. So guys, in the same skillet that we just removed our pork chops from, we are going to add some chopped onion to the skillet, and we are going to let these saute for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we are going to add in some garlic. So now that our onions are nice and sauteed and brown, we are going to add some minced garlic to our onions. And I am going to add about 4 teaspoons of minced garlic to the skillet, and we're just going to stir it up a little bit, and we're going to let this cook for about another minute, or maybe just about 30 seconds. And then we're going to add our next ingredient. So now we are going to add some bone broth to our onion and minced garlic that we have in a skillet already. And you can find this at your local grocery store. I actually bought this one from Walmart, and it is by Swanson, and I bought the little cup of it that you can drink because I didn't need to use that much for this recipe. And now I am going to add in a cup of some heavy whipping cream, and that's going to make our sauce nice and creamy. So now we are going to add in some basil leaves to our cream sauce. I'm just going to sprinkle it all over. You can also use fresh basil if you prefer your ingredients to be fresh. You can use that as well. And I'm also going to add in some garlic powder to give our sauce a little bit more flavor. So now we are going to thicken up our sauce by adding in some Parmesan cheese. And I did add in about 3/4 cups of Parmesan cheese. I used measuring cups for a few things so you guys can see, because I know some people like to use measurements when they're cooking and some people don't. They just kind of eyeball it like I do. But we are going to stir up our sauce and get it nice and thickened. And if you need to add some more cheese to your sauce, you can. Or if you want it a little bit more thicker, you can add some flour to it if it's not thick enough for you. So now that our sauce has been simmering for a few minutes, I am going to add in some fresh parsley that I've chopped up. If you do not have fresh parsley, this is optional. You can use the parsley that's in the jar. You do not have to use fresh parsley, but I had some fresh parsley on hand, so I just went ahead on and used that. And now we are just going to continue on stirring up our cream sauce until it thickens up a little bit. And then we are going to begin to add our meat back into the skillet. So I decided to add some more Parmesan cheese to my sauce. You can add more cheese to your sauce as you see fit. You can do your sauce as thick or as thin as you prefer it to be. So this process right here is optional. And so now we're just going to let the sauce simmer for a little bit longer until it thickens up a little bit more. So now guys, we are going to add our pork chops back into the skillet with the cream sauce. And we are just going to cover the pork chops with the cream sauce and let the pork chops and the cream sauce simmer down together and also get a little more thick. So we are going to continue on cooking our pork chops and our cream sauce for a few more minutes. So guys, this is our finished product. Our pork chops are all done with our Parmesan cream sauce. You guys, let me know if you tried this recipe down below. It is very delicious, you guys. You will not be disappointed. Please leave your comments down below, like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you liked what I'm cooking. And this was another video on What's Cooking with Tay. And I will see you guys in the next cooking video. Don't forget to subscribe.